work with a lot of divorced men who have been to couples therapy. So what went wrong? Why didn't it work for them? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. I see two main reasons that couples therapy fails for my clients, and I'm hoping in this video, by talking about those reasons, I can do a couple of things. One, if you're in the same position and you're trying to understand what went wrong in your marriage, I hope that this will give you some of that understanding and maybe some of the closure through that. But more importantly, I'm hoping that talking about this here is going to help you in your future relationships. Because what happens in couples therapy, what goes wrong in couples therapy, is just a reflection of what is already not working in the relationship. So I think understanding these two failures in couples therapy will help you build stronger, healthier relationships going forward. I do just want to insert a caveat that there is actually a lot of good couples therapy out there, and in fact, couples therapy has gotten way better than it used to be since, I guess the mid to late 80s, when emotionally focused therapy became the main form of couples therapy. Emotionally focused therapy is incredibly effective at building more secure attachment bonds. But even EFT doesn't work for a lot of couples. In fact, a lot of EFT therapists won't take certain couples. So let's get down to those reasons why couples therapy fails and why maybe it failed for you. If you don't know me yet, I'm Rachel Sloan. I'm a certified life coach and a master NLP practitioner, and I work with men, helping them move on from divorce, get closure, make peace, and move forward into healthier, more resilient relationships. Okay, first reason that couples therapy fails for a lot of my clients is because couples therapy only works if both people are in on it. And I see this breaking down actually at two different points. Often there's a point in the relationship where she wants to go to couples therapy. And I hear this a lot from clients and potential clients that, we went to couples therapy a few years ago, but I wasn't really that into it. I didn't think that there were that many problems between us. It didn't seem like anything was that wrong, so it just kind of fell flat and nothing happened. I thought everything was okay. And then there's the second point where maybe divorce is imminent, or the couple is in the middle of a separation, or she's talking about a separation, and they try couples therapy as kind of this last-ditch effort to save the marriage. And at that stage, what I often see happening for my clients is that they're really in on it, but she's not. She's already made the decision that she doesn't want to be in this relationship anymore. I have, in my experience, so I work with men after divorce, but some of my clients do reconcile with their wives. I've had clients who've been divorced get back with their wives. I've had clients who are separated, reconcile, even though we're working on post-divorce stuff. But in my experience, that only ever happens if she's also doing the work. My clients come to me to learn about themselves, to recognize their own patterns, to change their habits, to become more emotionally connected and intelligent, and discover how to be better people, better partners, better husbands, better fathers, by learning about their own brains and their own emotional experiences. When she's interested in doing that work too, then we can reconcile. But couples therapy does not work if both people aren't in on it. In fact, many emotionally focused therapists will not treat couples who are separated because separation itself is already inherently against the goal of EFT, which is to build a more secure bond, a safer attachment between two people. We don't have a very safe attachment when we've already decided not to share the same space. So if one partner or the other isn't interested in or isn't ready to at least try to be open, vulnerable, and curious, couples therapy is not going to work. The second reason I see couples therapy failing is because clients will try to use couples therapy as kind of a mediation for their surface level issues instead of getting to the underlying root causes of their problems. So a good way to think of couples therapy is more like learning a new language than getting like a mediator to come in and decide who's right and who's wrong in the argument over, dirty dishes, kids' schedules, that kind of thing. And I say it's like learning a new language because there is an entire story, there is an entire language happening under the surface of our relationship arguments, right? So when she's mad at you for working too much and then coming home and not wanting to do anything over the weekend except hang out and watch TV or watch football or hang out with your buddies, that's what you hear. You get defensive. Oh my gosh, I'm working so hard for you, for all these things that you want, for our kids, for our life. You don't appreciate me, and we're at the surface fighting over who's right and who's wrong. Do you work too much? Does she not appreciate you enough? Whereas, right, everyone's defensive, everyone's angry, and we're at the surface. There's a whole nother language happening below the surface, because when she says you work too much and then you come home and you don't want to do anything, what she really means is I'm lonely and I miss you. And when you get defensive and are like, hey, I am sacrificing so much, do you think I want to work this much? And I am doing this for us. What you're saying is, I want you to understand me and see how much I love you. And I'm scared that if you don't, that if you can't, that I'm going to lose you. If we go under the surface of almost every single argument and every single relationship, we have two people who are afraid of being alone, who want love and want their love to be recognized by the other person. But the problem is when we feel fear, right? When we're afraid of being alone, when we're afraid we're losing a connection with somebody we care about, when we're afraid we're not being seen or heard or understood, our nervous systems naturally go into a fight or flight response. Right? That's what fear does. There's a threat, my body activates to keep me safe. But fight or flight is not good for relationships, because in fight or flight, certain parts of our brain start to go offline. We start to lose the connection to our relational brain. The brain focuses all of its energy on action taking. So studies have shown that we actually start to lose our ability to accurately interpret things like subtle shifts in body language, tone of voice, eye contact. And as our nervous system gets more and more activated, our ability to use these kind of basic human relational skills, read these cues, decreases more and more and more. So when we trigger our partners or they trigger us and one or both of our nervous systems goes into fight or flight, we can't go below the surface, right? We're not capable in that moment of understanding their pain, and they're not capable of understanding ours, and so we stay on the top, arguing about the dishes, about the kids' schedules, about how much you work or who makes the money or why you haven't had sex in months, and we never get to what's really going on. And so that's the other reason I see couples therapy failing for some of my clients who come to me and are already divorced, right? Because they went to couples therapy, but they couldn't go deep enough. They couldn't get out of that fight or flight response to get to the real issues and find a way to reconnect with the person that they love. For couples therapy to really work, both partners have to be willing to go beneath the surface and learn this new language, and the therapist and both partners have to work together to create enough safety for both partners' nervous systems to allow that to happen. That's not easy. None of that is easy. So it takes a good therapist who's well trained, and it takes two partners who are willing to do the hard work together of trying to make all of that happen. And so often all of those ingredients just aren't in place. And like I said, what I see a lot for my clients is that there was a time where their ex-wives were ready, where they did want that couples therapy and they were willing to do the work, but he didn't recognize it at the time, right? And so he wasn't engaged in that process on the level that she needed him to be, and couples therapy didn't work. And then they try again at the end when she's already checked out and she's not willing or able to do the work at that point. So that's where I see couples therapy breaking down for a lot of my clients who've tried it and end up divorced. I hope understanding those things will help you, not only if you find yourself in couples therapy again, but just in your relationships in general, because the same principles apply, right? Both people have to be willing to try, willing to engage in order for that relationship to thrive. And you have to do the hard work of going beneath the surface. But in order to go beneath the surface, you have to create safety, either in yourself or in your partner, or ideally in both of you. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. I've got lots more videos in the pipeline. I'll see you guys in the next video.